Welcome to another episode of The Real Truth. As always, I'm your host, BX Badboy. And today we're going to be talking about stimulus package, Donald Trump and his bullshit veto. And at the end, we're going to be talking about inner demons and how I deal with mine. And believe me, I got a few. Please subscribe if you want to see more content. So let's start with the stimulus package. Now, we're lucky to get what we got. And the only reason why we got it was because a single Democrat from the House and a single Republican from the Senate got together and they put out a bill. Since it was bipartisan, it had to be heard and dealt with. Now, they had original plans on giving us shit. No check, no unemployment, nothing. They were just going to give out money to businesses. So, they're also trying to win the races in January 5th so they can try to keep the Senate, because there's two Republicans running and we need them to stay out of office because all they care about is getting rich. They both are under accusations of insider trading. That means they'll trade money over us. Now, we're lucky to get the 600. Now, everybody's talking about, oh, Donald Trump wants 2,000. The whole fucking bill is Donald Trump's bill. Okay? He sent his little lackeys in to negotiate on his behalf. So everything in this bill, which is two bills, by the way, for you dumbasses that don't know their ass from their elbow, like Donald Trump, it's the budget for our government, and I think it's also called the defense budget, and the coronavirus budget, which are two separate ones they brought together for one vote because everybody was unanimous on the vote. So they try to vote on both by just saying yes in one shot, trying to speed it up because they knew we needed the help. Now, Donald Trump's trying to save face by making himself look good. Now, I spoke to a friend of mine today, and we were discussing it. She's like, oh, Donald Trump wanted $2,000. No, the fuck he didn't. He had an opportunity to get them to make it $2,000 because he was supposed to be involved in negotiations. He sent his lackeys in to negotiate for him, and they were trying not to get any money to us. And they're the ones that were sending our governmental budget for overseas help, not from the stimulus package. Stimulus package has nothing to do with overseas help, but Trump trying to make it look like, oh, we're trying to help overseas with our corona budget. No, that's part of our government spending, not the stimulus package. So now he's trying to save face. So everybody go, oh, he's so awesome. No, he's not. He's a dick trying to get the population of the United States to go, oh, he's so awesome. He's giving us $2,000, so awesome. So he vetoed the bill. Then he undid the veto and then decided to sign it, and thinks that the Congress is just going to change the bill as he sees fit. And he doesn't understand it. Once he signed it into law. So there is no revising it. It's done. It's sealed, delivered. I mean, you have to work on a new bill, which won't be done if the reporters are correct before he's out of office, because it's going to take a couple of months, or at least a month, to come up with a new bill. Now, the Democrats' new bill is only for the $2,000 a month and stimulus to us. So it has nothing to do with all the other things. It's just about giving money to us so we can survive and our economy can survive, because the money we spend keeps our economy going, not the bullshit stock market. That's irrelevant to us. That's only relevant to the rich assholes that are invested in these companies. You and I, who buy from these companies, don't benefit from the stock market being up or down. Only stock exchange, which ironically, lawfully, whatever the fucking cunt's name is, her husband is the CEO of the stock market. So who do you think she's invested in? Us or the stock market? You tell me. So this is a bullshit attempt to try to save face for Donald Trump. so he looked good. So when it actually comes to question the whether or not Biden won or not, which is ridiculous because that's not what's up to debate. Certification by Pence is the only thing on the table. He wants everybody to stand up and say, "Oh, nope, nope, nope. We don't believe this was a fair election." Everybody along the chain of command, up to the Senate and up to Mike Pence, except for those two, believe this was a fair and just election. Republicans and Democrats in power, governors, who certified per state. So this is not what's up to debate. He's trying to overturn the election and say, fuck our democracy. So I say, fuck him. So his veto is bullshit, just like his threat of, oh, I'm not signing this unless you get rid of 230. That's not going anywhere, because he's stupid about that too. It doesn't protect corporations. It protects us. The reason why I say it protects us is because if we say something, it makes us liable for our own actions. If the corporations are liable, all they're going to do is ban us, block us, sue us, and come after us, and they got more money than we do. So if someone doesn't like what you say, you only get fined and or punished from the site itself for most part. They can't come after you and sue you because we can't go after them and sue them. So that means all Donald Trump's tweets go bye-bye. There won't be no little flag under it. He just gets banned. You say something, you get banned. It's going to do more damage to freedom of speech on these sites to take 230 out, making the companies liable for our actions, which is just stupid in its own right. How am I liable for your fucking actions? That's just stupid. So it's not coming out of the bill. It might get tweaked, but it ain't coming out. This light's pissing me off. Sorry for the darkness, but one of my lights just said, I don't care anymore. So, that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay? Now, if the House's bill makes it past the Senate and Trump signs it, we'll get another $2,000. If he doesn't, and it doesn't, we're going to have to wait for Biden to come up with something. Because by the time anything's available, Trump will be out of office. And these stupid fucking Republican redneck cunts. Oh my God, he's the greatest. He had the last 6 months of negotiating to make it $2,000. Why did he wait until after the bill was signed? Because it gave him leverage. Because the Republicans and the Democrats are afraid that if they didn't give him what he wanted, the elections in January would fall flat. But then he was convinced to sign it anyway and backtrack his bullshit. And guess what he did? He backtracked his bullshit. Thanks Lindsey Graham for that horse shit. And Mitch McConnell. Who, by the way, Mitch McConnell's been blocking this the whole time. Now, onto inner demons. You have to understand something about me. That if you watch any of my videos and don't get it, I am constantly battling my inner demons every day. I didn't go to sleep till 12 o'clock this afternoon. And it wasn't because I was up doing anything. I couldn't sleep. I was so twisted, I couldn't sleep. And all I wanted to do was go out and do some harm. I have a lot on my table, a lot of stress, and a lot of worries. Still haven't gotten workman's compensation back. By February, could lose everything and be homeless. That quick. And my son will lose his father, and I will lose mine. So by February might be the last time you hear from me for quite some time. because every piece of equipment and furniture that's in this house will have to be sold so I can try to survive, and I'm going to have to put my father in a home, something I don't want to do. So to say I'm overly stressed would be an understatement. But I will say this. If you subscribe, you can help me out. Because if I make the right amount of subscriptions versus hours, I'll become monetized, and that will be my income to help cover the loss of his workman's compensation. And I can't go to work because he damn near needs my care 24/7 for one thing or another, or he could die. So I'm left with only this option. And with COVID being rampant and going even higher, they're about to shut down my son's school and all the schools in my son's district. There's no way to work except work from home, which so far I haven't found anything besides this. The actual audio podcast version of this, and the only thing left is potential Uber, but that's not going to be as illustrious as it once was. I used to be an Uber driver because there's less people moving around than there was when I first started. So this is my only option. I could use the help. My son could use the help. So now, my inner demons are very, very dangerous. Now, some of you might be afraid of what I tell you next, and as long as you're not on the bad end of this, you got nothing to worry about. I am very simple. Very dangerous, but very simple. I'm either your best friend or your worst nightmare. That's up to you, not me. So if you aren't someone who deserves my attention, you don't get it. If you're someone who deserves my attention, I would spend every waking hour giving it to you. And that's not something you want. And I'm being very careful with the way I word things, because what you say can come back to bite you. And I have proof of this. I put up a post on Facebook. Some fucking cunt sent it to my son's school. My son's school got locked down. I got forced to do a psychological evaluation and my firearm taken from me. All because I posted something on my private Facebook page that some dumb bitch sent to a school. I beat that case, but my words came back to bite me. And my words weren't very specific. They were very broad and general, but they still came back to bite me. I won the case because I didn't break any laws. I didn't commit any acts of violence. I didn't threaten anyone directly. So I word my words very carefully. So on to that. There's obviously two kinds of attention. The one I'm talking about now is if I'm your worst nightmare. The next one is if I'm your best friend. My entire day is invested in you. Like my son, he is too young to be my best friend, but he's my best buddy. When he gets older, we'll be best friends. It will just transition from buddy to friend, because we'll be equals at that point, in the sense of we'll both be adults. There's nothing I won't do for my son. I have brothers. There's nothing I won't do for them, because they're on the good side of me. And that's the side you want to be on. But I do have demons where I get stressed out, I get upset, I get frustrated, and all I want to do is pull a few magic tricks outside with people. And it's one particular trick. Abracadabra. Where'd he go? Make people disappear. But it doesn't make any sense to do that. And believe me, that demon is just as strong in me as it is in most of you. And the way I choose to deal with it, it's actually rather simple. It's not worth it. And I'm not worried about going to jail. I'm not worried about people not liking me. I'm not worried about people thinking I'm psychotic. I could care fucking less. Don't like me? Stay the fuck away from me. Don't care. There's only one person's opinion that matters to me. And it doesn't matter in this particular circumstance, but the only one that matters to me is my son's opinion. Not his mother, not my father, not my brothers, not any ex-girlfriends or girlfriends to be. I don't really care what anyone thinks. But it really isn't worth it for me to get up and do anything to anyone until it's worth it. And just because someone makes me angry doesn't make it worth it. They've got to do something to make me cross that threshold. And what I mean by do something, not just say, hey, you're a douche. I don't care what people say. I'll argue with you. I'll fight with you. No problem, because I will defend myself, and I will defend those I love and trust. But if you don't lay your hands on me or hurt my child, for the most part, I won't lay my hands on you, because it ain't worth it. Because I'm going to be forced to make you disappear. And that's not an easy feat. Ask Houdini. Yes, I know Houdini's dead. But so, it really boils back to my age-old sentence. Fuck it all. But you can't be nitpicky with fuck it all. You gotta be deliberate and to the point. I don't care what you say. Talk. It reverts back to when I was a kid in high school and junior high. Oh, your mom's a whore or your mom's a bitch. That's her problem. At the end of the day, what they had to say about my mother, and even about me, didn't matter. Because who the fuck are they? And if by some chance God and as the Bible describes him, will judge me at the end of my days, he and they, whoever does the judging, I think it's called St. Peter's, their opinion is the only one that matters. Because they'll determine whether I go to heaven or hell. Not you. Not anyone else. And if there isn't a heaven and hell, then it really doesn't matter. And I know most of you go, I believe in God. So do I. I believe in a supreme creator. But that doesn't mean I believe in the rest of the hogwash. Because a lot of it sounds like it was set up just to make us stay in line. Now, I started taking notes. So, we're back to my notes. We'll start with the mask. It's all about fighting the power, not civil rights or your rights. Those who don't want to wear a mask is simply to fight the power. Like when a cop pulls somebody over and they're like, what did I do? You're just harassing me. That's what they're doing with the mask. They don't give a fuck about their health or yours or mine. They only care about showing their ass. That's real pathetic. As I wrote here in the notes, fight the power to act big and bad. That's what it boils down to act like their shit don't stink. If your parents said, don't you fight just not to follow them so you can have control, and they don't. When your parents told you not to do something, what did you do? You did exactly what they told you not to. Why? To fight their power. Simply and utterly to fight their power. We all did it. I did it. I'm guilty of sin. But that's what this is all about. This is about society just fighting the man. It's not about the man. It's about our safety. Okay? If I wear a mask and you wear a mask, we don't get each other sick. It's those who don't wear masks that can either get sick or get us sick. Because the mask doesn't protect me from you. Your mask protects me from you. My mask protects you from me. Like if my hand washes your back and your hand washes my back, our backs are washed. Now, I was going to talk about this, and I think I still am, because I saw this the other day, and what I wrote in my notes, make complaint vid with updates on what I think, and talk about gender and sexual choice. Now, I know it's controversial, but I want to make one thing clear. It's very simple. There's males and females, and then there's female males, and there's male females. But they're both gender. There isn't a official third gender because they're half male, half female transgenders. Now, if they completely transition from one sexuality to another, then they become the new sexuality. So if I were to try to turn into a female, what am I? Female. If I'm a female and I try to turn into a male, what am I? A male. But if I'm both, then how am I a third sex? That doesn't make any sense, does it? It's like, I understand they want recognition of individuality, but they have it. They're both genders. And there's nothing wrong with that. But everybody wants to fight and cause drama over whether or not there's a third gender. What's the third gender? By all means, if you can tell me what the third gender is, I'll sit there and I'll put my hand up to it. But if you're a male and a female, then you're not one thing. So how are you a third gender? That doesn't require a third gender to be unique, to be an individual. Because it doesn't matter what your gender is. Everybody's so tied up in gender. I don't even go around saying I'm a male. I am, but I don't go around going, oh, I'm a male. Respect me as a male. No, because it doesn't matter. I don't care if you respect the sexuality I am. I don't go, oh, I'm a straight man, so you gotta love me for being a straight man. I don't do that either. When we get hung up on some of these silly little instances, we get away from the true fact that a transgender is just as human as a gay and lesbian is just as a straight male or female is. There's no difference between the three of us when it comes to equality. Just like there's no difference between black, white, Chinese, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, and so on. We're all equal. I don't think a 41-year-old black man, which is an equivalent to my age and sex, is lesser or more than me, unless he's smarter than me or dumber than me. But it has nothing to do with his race. It has something to do with his intelligence and abilities. Same thing goes with transgender, gay, lesbian, or straight of any age. Your personality makes you who you are, not your age, not your sexual preference, and not your gender. Getting hung up on gender is avoiding all that. And what I'd like to know is what's the gender. So now you're going to tell me transgender is a gender. Okay? What does transgender mean? It means someone in transition, if I'm not mistaken. So, if that is true, which I'm almost certain it is, hey, let's find what Google says. Okay, Google, what's the definition of transgender?
So I can't help you with that at the moment. Here's the definition of transgender. Denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex.
Okay, so I stand corrected. So, transgender means, according to the definition from Google, that it's someone who doesn't identify with what they were born as. But what do they identify as? Because if someone who was born as a male doesn't identify as a male, well, who and what do they identify as? And if a female was born a female, but don't identify with that, what does she or they identify with? Since there isn't a third gender because you either like males or females, um, excuse me, in a sexual preference, you would be either male or female. Who likes male or female? Now, if you got both, which, or in what I thought transgender meant, stand corrected from Google, in between genders. That's what I thought it meant, and that's kind of what her definition is, where they don't identify as the gender they were born, which means that doesn't mean they picked a gender, but they don't identify as the one they were born into. So I guess that's still transitioning, just not a physical transition like I originally thought. And when I'm wrong, or mistaken, I'm mistaken. Got no problem admitting that shit. Anyway, so if they don't believe they're a male and they were born a male, what do they believe they are? So if they don't believe they're male or female, then they don't have a gender. They're genderless. And everybody wants to make up a third gender. Okay, what is the third gender? This is science here. This isn't morality. Male, female, or someone who is both, or someone who is nothing. Like, I'm non-religious. That's not a religion, is it? So I don't choose any religion. I choose what I believe. And I don't believe in any of them. I believe whatever I believe. So I didn't pick a religion. That makes me non-religious, not my own religion. So if you're in transition from the gender you were born into, and you don't know what you want to be or what you believe you are and feel you are, or what you identify with, then you aren't a gender. And there's nothing wrong with that, just like I'm not religious or in a religion. I am religionless. So you would be genderless. This is, again, about science. Medical science, not moral science, not religious science. I don't give a fuck what religion says. Okay? Most of it makes no sense. God loves everyone but these particular people. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, God says that's a sin. It sounds more like man says that's a sin. Because when I talk to females, gay, straight, bisexual, or otherwise, they don't think there's anything wrong with a man being gay. Now, mind you, I did mention a straight woman. She doesn't think there's anything wrong either. The only person I've noticed in my 41 years that has a problem with gay men, who are those people? Oh, heterosexual douchebags. So it sounds like that Bible, which was written by a man, and I'm not talking about God, written by a man, translated by another man, and twisted to fit another man's endeavor. So when you got to translate something, like if you had to translate this book, no, it's not the traditional black book, but you had to translate this book. If you go from one language to another and then back again, the sentence is different. There's a YouTube channel all about it. I think it is, or a meme where the person says whatever, ice cream, bananas, and French fries, has it translated into another language, then translate that language back to English, and it makes absolutely no sense. So when you interpret things, you interpret as you see fit, because there's certain religions that have a really asinine belief that just sounds man-made, not God-made. So at the end of the day, you either have a religion or you don't. You have a gender or you don't. There's nothing wrong with it. I personally don't want a gender. because it fits a gender stereotype. And as I wrote it in here, I already did this, or did the House vote. Oh yeah, let me add that part. The House voted for $2,000 today, and it passed through the House. Let's see. Demons. Back to talking about demons. There's nothing wrong with having them. Like I taught my son, having good without evil means you don't have any good. Now, why is that? Because how do you know what good is without having something to bounce it off of? You need evil. Now, I'm not saying you need to be evil, but evil must exist for good to prosper. Because you don't know if you're being good unless you know what bad is. Now, growing up, our parents and me as a parent teaching our children what wrong is. And once they get wrong down, all they got to be is good. But you must pass on what bad is to stay away from it. Just like you need to tell your daughter what kind of men to stay away from because they're just womanizers. You need to tell your sons what kind of girls stay with them. They're just sluts or money or gold diggers. But they won't know until they either experience it or you tell them. So they won't know to stay away from a gold digger unless you tell them what a gold digger is. So once you tell your children what evil is and what good is, yes, and introduce them to evil, making them choose. But would you rather be the one helping that choice? Would you rather them find out that evil is so much easier than good? My son asked me this question, and I told him the truth. The reason why evil is so easy and good is so hard is because it doesn't take anything to hurt someone, especially if you don't know who they are. But you have to sacrifice something to do good. And people are like, what do you mean sacrifice? I'm glad you asked. I want to help you out. That's doing something good. I have to either pay for the objects that you need or do the work you can't. I have to sacrifice my energy, my money, and my time in order to do something good. You cannot do something good without doing something. Doing something requires you to give up your time, clothes, food, or money, or back pain. But for me to do something wrong or bad or evil, I'm now taking from you. So now I'm building onto my inventory. That's so much easier. And I had to explain to him, anything good, if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. He's like, what do you mean? It's this simple. If you don't put in the hard work, you won't value the outcome because getting something is easy. So my son, and like most children, he got a lot of toys, gadgets, and so on. He broke them, we replaced them. Got new ones, broke them, we replaced them. No questions asked. We scold him, we punish him for a little bit. Punishment goes away, he gets it again. Now, how is he to value the objects we give him? May it be toys, may it be dolls, may it be electronics. If we just keep replacing them, over time, he's going to think these things are replaceable, therefore, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to respect them, don't have to like them, don't have to behave. So that's what happens. So I taught him you have to sacrifice in one form or another to do good. And it will mean so much more. And I've asked him, I said, if I gave you $100 or you worked and you paid you $100, which one would feel better to you? My 11-year-old turning 12 told me it'd feel better to earn it, but it would hurt so much more to earn it than to just get it. Smart kid. So, without bad, there is no good. Without good, there ain't no bad. You need them to understand the opposites of them. But once my son gets good down packed and chooses to remain good, he doesn't need to be evil to know evil. Because I'm sorry to tell you, it's a little secret. There's people out there that don't like doing good. They like doing bad because they rather get than give. So, my child needs to know what to do and what to expect when that happens. So, he has to learn evil. And the worst way for him to learn, ironically, is also the best way for him to learn. Firsthand. But he needs an edge on how to survive being fucked over. So, having inner demons is okay. Nothing wrong with it. Like I tell my son, it's not your thoughts that matter, it's your actions. Because there's a lot of racist people out there that are so racist. It makes me sick. But they never act on that racist feeling, in the sense where they don't go out calling out racial slurs, threatening to kill them because of their race. They just stay away from the race they're racist too. And those I commend and respect. Even though I don't like them, I commend respect for them. Because it takes a lot to have that kind of hatred in you and not act. It shows weakness to have that kind of hatred and act. Because you can't control yourself. That makes you not an adult. It makes you a child. So, from time to time, the way I've dealt with my demons were very simple. Inside my head, I would do the thing I longed to do, and I let the demon loose in my head. And whatever that demon wanted to do, I imagined doing. And once the demon was done, for that moment or moments, I was okay. And I never felt myself wanting the demon to get loose or let the demon out. I actually am afraid to let that demon out. Because innocent people might get hurt. Bad people might get hurt too. That's not a risk I'm willing to take. That's important to me. That I don't hurt people that don't deserve it. And it's important to me that my son doesn't hurt people that don't deserve it. It's also important he don't hurt anyone, but I'm more concerned if he lets his demons out and I let mine out. A whole new version of Silent Night will be taking place. And that's not fair to those that aren't at fault or involved. So it's not something I'm willing to do. And I guess my only real answer to sum this up, how I defeat my demons, is with willpower. The will not to let them out. I guess that's the best way of putting it, is because I will them to stay in. I make this weird sound when I say my son's name, where I stretch one of the vowels or consonants for like a good 3 minutes, and it almost sounds like I'm not breathing. He's like, "Daddy, how the hell do you do that?" I say, "Stop cursing." "I'm sorry, but what the hell? Didn't I just say stop cursing?" Stubborn old boy. And my only answer to him is, Will, it hurts. Oh, it hurts to do it. Because I'm literally not breathing. Essentially, I'm suffocating myself. And it's suffocating myself to the point where it starts to hurt. But I keep pushing. And I guess like Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And I just keep going until I feel like stopping. That is the simplest definition of how to deal with demons. You have to will it to happen. Those who let their demons out aren't weak, aren't punks or pussies, but they're not willing to use their will. No double entendres or puns intended. They're not willing to keep pushing because it's easier to let loose than it is to stop. And on that note, it's 12:06 a.m. and I will catch you on the flip side. Hopefully this time I'll get some sleep. Please subscribe, like, dislike, comment. I don't really care if you like what I have to say, but I'd like to hear what you think, and we can discuss it. And if you find somewhere where I'm wrong, we'll discuss it, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. But you have to show me where I'm wrong. And I'm willing to listen, I'm willing to watch, I'm willing to understand. I'm willing to even look from your point of view. I have a great deal of empathy, as well as sympathy and understanding. So on that note, catch you on the flip side. Peace!